The beginning of the anime is in the courtroom of the Dog Kingdom, where others are actually making a plan to counter the attack from the Lion Kingdom. With the constant defeat, everyone was down, but the dog princess Milia decided to summon a hero for their rescue from the human world, and then the scene swifts to Sink. Sink is just a normal middle schooler, but he is an excellent gymnast, and his friend always supports him. Her name is Becky. Sink is actually from abroad and always takes part in an athletic competition in his hometown, but previously he was defeated by his cousin and came in second place. Still, Sink didn't lose hope and set his goal to come in first place, and now he was planning to visit his hometown again to take part in that competition. So he was rushing to catch the flight at the airport after attending his class, but then, as he was making his way out of school in an unusual way, a weird dog with a sword just opened up a circle right where Sink was about to land, and ends up falling into that portal created by that dog and ending up in the fantasy world of Beastmen, where the Dog Kingdom's Princess Milia welcomed her into the world of Florianed. She started explaining to Sink about her desperate situation and that she had no choice but to summon him as a hero because her kingdom was on the verge of defeat by the Lion Kingdom's troops. Sink thought that there was a war going on between them, but in fact it was more like a friendly competition where the troops who lost on the battlefield would be turned into puffball animals. So yeah, there is no chance for casualties, but still, the one with the most troops would end up winning, and even more so, this type of battle is also broadcast throughout both of their kingdoms. Milia and her kingdom are on the brink of defeat in this competition because there was no one capable in the dog army that could actually defeat the Lion Princess Leo. A very powerful knight and also the ruler of the Lion Kingdom, and if they are unable to stop their constant loss, the kingdom of Biscotti would fall under her. After calmly hearing her explanation, Sink made peace in his mind that he was now in another world and was summoned as a hero to save them. This news was then widely spread by Milia to raise confidence in her army that there was a hero from another world who came to save them. Sink really had the upper hand in this fight because of his athletic skills, and with that advantage, he started defeating the soldiers of the Lion Kingdom in his first go and made his way towards the captain of the knight named Eclair. So for the battlefield, Sink got a mystic weapon from Milia, which is said to be a powerful weapon that can take any form as its users desire, and its name is Sacred Sword Palladium. Sink found Eclair on purpose because Milia showed him that he can use the power spirit combined with the life force to make use of a powerful cannon-like power. And the one who is an expert in it is Eclair, so Sink got there to learn it from her. But then a powerful arrow came, striking down both Sink and Eclair, and it was from none other than Leo. After that, she entered the battlefield, hearing about the summoned hero, and just as she entered, Leo defeated Biscotti's soldier along with her own troops with just a single attack. But Eclair and Sink flew in the sky to avoid that attack, and with gravity doing its work, Sink and Eclair both attacked her at the same time to boost their attack, which destroyed her weapon and armor. So it was the first time that Leo surrendered, and this was the first victory that Biscotti Kingdom had since the competition started. So to celebrate this, Mil made an announcement that she would organize a concert for people and she would sing herself in it. Then Sink at least wanted to contact someone from his world or to return temporarily, but once the hero is summoned to this world, he won't be able to return for his entire life. That was the first rule of summoning, and Milia was feeling pretty bad for doing something like this to Sink. Then while Sink was with Eclair, she told him that the summoned as a hero is his optional. But it was all because of that dog who used summoning ritual while Sink was in mid-air and opened a gate right beneath him. But then again Sink was really curious about the way two kingdoms fight against each other. But this kind of large-scale fight are not that normal, but the small-scale fight between village were common, in which the organizers collect funds from the participants and organized this friendly competition between Lion and Dog Kingdom. Both sides' participants and organizers stake their money in this, and then the winning side takes 60% and the losing side takes 40%. Half of which is given to the participants and half is used for the nation's interest. This kind of fight has been going on for a long time now, but there is also a reason why no one gets hurt in the battle. The reason is the Floyan's protective power, which protects people from getting hurt so that they can take part in competition without any worries. But there are also some parts where there is no protection and they can get hurt or die by demons. Slowly talking with each other, they arrived at the library to meet with Rico. She was finding a way for Sink to return, but the return seemed impossible. So Sink got the idea that he just needed a portal that was workable enough to get a signal in his phone to contact his friend. Sink first contacted Becky. She was patiently waiting for Sink to contact her because he had promised her that he would take her to see the competition in which he was about to participate. But now it would be impossible since the world he was in he couldn't return, but Sink didn't tell her where he actually was. Well, then, as the story continues, the Princess of Biscotti, Milia, was preparing for her concert. She is the ruler of the kingdom as well as the famous idol of the Floyant, and her singing is admired by many people, but in the night, 3 ladies of the Lion Kingdom named Noir, Vert, and Nanami kidnapped Milia under the order of the Lion Prince Gaul. It was a sudden declaration of recapture battle by Gaul and challenges with his 200 troops at his fortress for a head-on fight, and Sink accepted it without any thinking. Which angered Eclair because there was only an hour left for her concert, so basically Sink had made a mess. Anyway, what's done is done, and now Sink and Eclair were heading straight to save Milia, but on Mill's side at the fortress, she was well taken care of, and from the look of it, she wasn't even in any kind of hostile situation. Rather, it seems she knew Gaul and Leo well from her childhood. But the reasons why Leo became hostile towards her despite their past friendship were still a mystery. At the entrance, Lion troops were waiting for Sink, but just as he arrived, various blasts made a path for Sink to barge right into the fortress. It was all thanks to Rico, but then she was later spotted, and her part was completed. But then again, Sink was surrounded by an overwhelming number of troops and the commander of their army, Godwin, but to make things a bit easier, Dalkian and Yuki arrived at the battle to save the princess. Decades ago, Dalkian made a name for herself by defeating an army on her own. Dalkian's arrival on the battlefield made things a lot easier for Sink to save the princess. Sink went inside the castle to fight Gaul, and Eclair stayed behind to stop Vert, Nanami, and Noir. Then suddenly Leo arrived there and engaged in a spectacular battle against Dalkian, but unfortunately the strongest warrior of the Biscotti kingdom lost to Leo. Then she made her way inside and stopped the fight between Gaul and Sink in the middle. She scolded her brother for his action and also scolded Sink for agreeing to his terms. But even after meeting with Milia for so long, she seemed so distant from her that she didn't even talk to her. Leo apologized to Milia that she wasn't able to perform at her own celebration, but in this regard, Sink came up with an idea to carry the princess to get to Biscotti in time. Sink used his ring, the weapon that can transform into anything he wants, and he made a flying board to arrive just at the right time to perform in the concert. After that, Princess Milia rewarded everyone who had made a great contribution in the battle, and everyone was happy to get recognition from the princesses. Then, in the afternoon, while the knights were getting their usual training, Sink also got in for some training and picked Eclair as her training partner. Both Eclair and Sink are nice in their movements, and their duel ended in a draw, but it was clear they were getting close. And Princess Milia was also looking forward to spending some quality time with Sink at night in the garden. Then, as they met at their designated time, Milia disclosed that she specifically chose Sink to be summoned as a hero. Apparently, she has a magic mirror that allows her to look into different worlds, and she was mesmerized to see Sink in that competition and chose to summon him. But it was a little embarrassing for Sink because he came in second place and was defeated, but Milia didn't mind that at all. Then again, after that meeting, they promised to meet early in the morning for a walk as well. But Leo, who always treated Milia like a little sister, has turned her back on her, something that Dalkian wasn't able to accept that easily. From her thinking, she thought of a demon's involvement, but it was far from reality. The reason Leo was being so oppressive against Milia was because she could predict the future on the basis of stars, and she could clearly see the death of Milia and Sink. And that's the reason she actually wanted to change the future to save Milia and Sink. So to change the future itself and to save Milia and Sink, Leo has decided to use the most powerful weapon that has been in the royal family for generations. So what's going to be the point of the deaths of Sink and Milia if Leo wants to turn fate on itself? Stay tuned for its second part, but till then, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more anime recaps.